Uncle Go Clips.
Figuring out 3D printing and product design. Um, Helped my nephew with a racing bike that he was taking part in a race in, and got it to regulation measurements or whatever. I don't really understand, but like I printed a little 4 centimeter piece that allowed him to compete, which was great. Um, and you know, just working on other stuff like a phone stand for my mom, replacement battery covers. It's brilliant what a 3D printer can do for you.
Oh
Just
yeah.
the little things you don't think, and then you go, oh, the little frustrations. You go, I could print something for that.
Mm. I listened to a conversation on YouTube recently where people were chatting about like why didn't 3D printers catch on more with the general public, and the guy said that the main argument was that it's too expensive, and the other guy says that it's actually too complicated. So the price is not that much of a problem, but for a person to figure out where to buy it, what the materials are that you can use, installing the software, and then finding the designs online, they say that it's like too complicated right now.
I would disagree probably with that because it's I got this one for under $200. In fact, closer to 100. That was on offer, but I know its regular retail price is now under $200, so that's reasonably affordable. I mean, lots of people buy devices for a lot more than that. Software is extremely straightforward. It all came on the memory stick for this, so there isn't really an issue with that. Finding items to print is simple as a Google search. You just download them; they'd be ready to go. You load them into the software and export them to the card, put it in the machine, and hit go. If you want to make your own objects, like all these things I've been printing, it takes a little bit more skill in like 3D design and all that kind of thing, but it's nothing you can't get to grips with reasonably quickly. I think, in my opinion anyway, what is the stumbling block for 3D printers is that I've heard from a lot of friends who have other friends, and they'll say, or other friends with 3D printers, and they'll say, oh yeah, such and such got a 3D printer, and they were really gung ho about it, and then I'd heard nothing more about it, so it doesn't seem that exciting to me anymore. And I think the reason for that is you really kind of initially underestimate how long it takes to print something. Like this thing that I have made. Sorry for the podcast listeners, but on YouTube you'll be able to see it. I have a little tricorder from Star Trek. It's still a prototype, but it will one day have flashing lights and so on. But anyway, that case and all the little bits and pieces probably took about 24 hours in total to print. So, and even the holster that I made for it, that took like 12 hours. So it takes a remarkable amount of time for these things to come out. And you'll look at an object and go, oh, that's very simple, and then it'll take forever to print. So I think that's the frustrating part of it for people. They think that it's like a replicator from Star Trek. You put the file on it and it'll appear. But no, it's a bit slower. That's the only real stumbling block I see.
Do you think that it will get faster with time?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's kind of a physics problem. There's a few different types of printers. So there's like what I have is called a finite deposition. I can't remember now. Finite deposition modeling, FDM. Yeah. So it's laying basically a little strip of melted plastic in layers and building it up. So it's a two-dimensional shape just stacked on top of each other for thousands of layers. That's the basic principle behind most 3D printers, but how they actually do that differs. So there's some that have like a bath of liquid and use UV light to set that. It's a kind of an epoxy liquid that sets under UV light, and they have a screen under the bath, and the screen displays the two-dimensional shape, and then that sets the layer, and then it moves the print up and sort of prints from the bottom. And then there's ones that use a powder as well, and it's sort of, I think it's melting the powder and pushing the thing up out of the powder bed. So there's various different types of 3D printer, but they all take time. Probably the epoxy bath one is the quickest. So I don't know. It might be a physics constraint as to how quickly you can move around this melted stuff, because it needs to take time to set on each layer and so on. But yeah, I suppose as with all things, they'll find efficiencies and they'll find new ways to do it. It's still very early days.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full version, go to the Uncle Gold Podcast YouTube channel or watch the next clip.